Hey team, this is Chris Abraham from GOHacademy. Welcome to round 2, where we're going to be doing more math, a lot of math from all the different teacher certification exams. Use this stuff to make it a game, have fun, and learn a whole lot of math you're going to need to pass your tests. Let's take a look at our first set of problems. Let's have fun. Let's go. All right, team, let's look at another problem from the general curriculum exam. This is the 278 for teachers taking the math and science exam. This one is a classic one. Teachers write in all the time needing help with this one. This is one of the hardest ones on the practice exam. It's frustrating because it's one of those problems. If you look at it right here, it's involving fractions and mixed numbers and adding and subtracting fractions and rounding. And it looks like it takes a lot of time, and it does. Unfortunately, this is a mean problem. That the individuals that made this problem or the AI that made this problem, very mean, okay? Because it takes a little bit of time. But what we're going to do is we're going to think about it. We're going to make a model to understand it, to do the math and understand it a little faster and help cut through this problem, okay? There's lots of math here, and we can simplify it a little bit. We can pick up on some clues. So the first thing I want you to do before we start to solve it is I want you to study this problem. So read over number 10 to yourself, pause the video, read the question, and then we'll solve it together, okay? Let's go. Okay, let's take a moment and I'm just going to read it out loud. It says here, a student estimates the value of the expression, and then we have this huge expression, right? 3 and 5/6 plus 2 1/10 plus 4 1/4 minus 5 1/8 by rounding each fraction to the nearest whole number. Which of the following statements about the student's estimate is accurate? So when we look at it here, there's a couple pieces of number sense that's going on. I'm sure you saw this language, but I'm going to highlight it. If you've ever taken a class with me, you're always going to hear me talk about identifying the key concepts. And one of the key concepts we can find is the language used. And one of the languages is estimate, right? Estimate. So we're going to be estimating, rounding up and rounding down. So that's definitely one key concept going on here, okay? And you can see that word estimate throughout the questions. So this is a question involving estimating, rounding up and rounding down. The second piece is clearly the piece involving fractions, right? And this is that other piece, estimating, working with fractions, and this is going to have us add these fractions up, right? See, if we added all these fractions up, we would get some number. We'd get some number here. I'll write down the sum. We get an actual sum. And our estimate, depending on how we estimate, is going to be either too small or too high, right? It actually uses the language here, less than or greater than. So when we make our estimate, depending on how we round these values up, our estimate is going to be either be too great or too small or too less, right? So let's just zoom in on the second piece. Well, we'll do the second piece, which is working with these fractions, okay? And also estimating. Now, one way of doing this is to add all these up, but gee, what a pain in the neck, right? Let's just pretend we added them up. Let's just pretend that we added them up and we came up with some total or some sum. I'll just write down sum. This is the total sum of all these numbers. I'm not going to take time and actually add it up. I'm just going to say that that's the actual sum. And now we're going to round this, and it's either going to be we're going to be rounding up, and it's going to be too high, or we're going to be rounding down and it's going to be too small, right? So let's see here. If we added in this number here and we were rounding this value, would you round 5/6 up to a whole number, or would you round it down? You'd probably say, well, our estimate here, we'd probably round this whole thing to 4, right? And that 4, well, that would be up 1/6. We'd be over, right, the actual amount by 1/6. So we have a total amount if we add them all together. And if we round this to 4, well, we're going up 1/6, right? What about this one right here? Let's think about this one. 2/10. Well, that would probably get rounded down, right? And just to 2, which means our estimate now on this number would be off down by 1/10, right? Does that make sense? Same thing with this one right here. This one, 4 and 1/4. This would get rounded down to 4. Our estimate would be behind low by 1/4. So far, we're up by 1/6, and then we're down by 1/10 and 1/4. Now, what about the next one? The next one is where they're kind of mean. This is the meanness of the problem, is that they throw in a subtraction problem, which means when we round this to a 5, we're not rounding down by 1/8 because it's a subtraction problem. This is the tricky part. Because it's a subtraction problem, by it being a subtraction problem, and we round it down, we're actually rounding it up. Does that make sense? That just trips up my brain. I don't know about you. But when we round this one down to 5, it's because it's a subtraction problem. It actually changes the estimate and rounds it up. So in reality, we're going up by this amount, and our estimate's up by this amount and down by this amount. And now what we got to do is we got to compare them by finding a common denominator and figure out which one is greater, the ones that are greater and up or the ones that are less than or down. Okay. Now we have to find a common denominator between 6, 8, 10, and 4. There's a lot of guesswork that can go into this. Like you might be saying to yourself, well, can I do 12 or 40? Or you might go through a lot of guesswork. So here's a shortcut. If we go back to the original problem, and you look at the original problem, you're going to see that all the answer choices have 120 in the denominator. This is a clue. This is actually communicating to you, use 120. That's the lowest common divisor for those numbers. And in fact, it is. It's a mean lowest common divisor, right? Because it's a pretty big number in the denominator, but it's the one to use. So we're going to use that clue, go back to this one here, and we're going to represent these fractions with 120 in the denominator. All right. And this means we have to be not only add fractions and subtract fractions, we have to be able to find equivalent fractions, right? So here, I'm using 120 as a common denominator. 6 goes into 120. 6 goes into 120 how many times? 6 times what? 6 goes into 12 2 times. 6 goes into 120 20 times, right? So we'd be like 6 times 20 is 6 times 20 gets us 100. So we do 6 times 20 gets 120, or 1 times 20 and we get 20 over 120, right? So 1/6 and 20 over 20 are, you say, equivalent. Now, what about this one? How much does 8 go into 120? It's a little tricky. It actually works out to being around 15. So 8 times 15 is 120. So 1 times 15 is 120. So what we have right now, the fractions that are over. And if we add these two together, okay, 20 1/20ths plus 15 1/20ths, we can keep the numerators the same, denominators the same, and just add the numerators. We would find that we would be up by 20 plus 15 all over 120, or we'd be up by a total of 35 1/20ths. Okay? Just hold on to that for a moment. That's the amount that our estimate is over the original amount, the total original sum, right? Now we go to these ones here. We got to do these ones here. 10 goes into 120, what? 12 times. 1 times 12 is 12, right? So 1 over 10 is equal to 12 over 120. 4 goes into 120 how many times? It's actually 30 times, right? So 1 times 30 is 30 over 120. So now we have these two equivalent fractions. 1/10 is equal to 12 over 120. 1/4 is equivalent to 30 over 120. We're going to add these. These are the ones that we estimated down. And we come up with, we are down by 12 plus 30 over 120. We're down by 42 over 120. So we are actually negative 42 over 120. So just looking at this, we overestimated by 35 over 120. That's such a weird fraction to say, right? That's why it's a mean problem. It's just an awkward one to think about. We're over 35 over 120, and we're under 42 over 120. So how do we figure this out? Well, we have to add them to find out which one. Okay, so if we were to do this, add these up, it would be 35. It would be 35 minus 42 over 120, and we would get that our estimate. Let me enlarge this for dramatic effect because it's gotten a little messy, right? If we minus 35 from 42, we'd find out that our estimate is negative 7 over 120. We are under by 7/120ths, right? Isn't that a mean problem? That's such a mean problem. But that's the answer, because if we go and we compare it now to the other options, you're going to find the first one, the student's estimate is 7/120ths less than the actual value of the expression, right? So team, this is a tricky problem. This is a time-consuming, brain-sucking question, right? How can you save time? Well, maybe you start by not actually finding the original amount. You're just like, that's the sum. And then from there, you're like, well, we're over, we're up, or we're down in the estimates, or greater than or less than in the estimates. And maybe that just, I don't know if that helps a little bit. For me, it helped a little bit, just sort of like getting to this point here. Okay, this is the curveball. When we're subtracting that negative 1/8, that's like adding it to the greater than side. Okay, it's weird how that works. We'd be rounding down, but we'd be rounding down from a subtraction, so our answer would actually be greater. So we actually have this. So this is the shortcut to get to here. Then you have to add these up, and you have to get to your 35 over 120 and your 42, negative 42 over 120. And unfortunately, right, because it's less than, this is the part that's less than, there's no easy way out of that. And then you have to subtract them to get to your 7 under negative 7 over 120. There's no easy way after that point. But maybe if you could just set up the model, maybe that might help, okay? Team, this is a pretty mean problem. There's a lot of math here. It's not your average estimate problem. I feel when they created this problem, right, they kind of mixed too many ideas together, right? They were like, okay, we got to come up with an estimating problem, a rounding and estimating problem. So they had that problem in their mind. And then they were like, but we also have to come up with a problem involving fractions, adding and subtracting fractions and rounding fractions. And they sort of had another problem in mind here too, right? Because look at the math here. We're adding fractions, we're subtracting fractions, we're finding equivalent fractions. So it's this weird problem, right? It's a very mean problem. And look at the denominators too. It's not your usual denominator, right? 120. So again, this problem is problematic. I would think that for most teachers, this would take over 2 to 3 minutes to do. So think about it, study it, see if you can get it down to around 2 to 3 minutes when you solve it, okay? It's one of those harder ones on the test. It's definitely a time-consuming problem. So practice it, team. Let me know what you think, okay? All right, team, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I want you to give it a big thumbs up. Believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of teachers out there that are taking these exams. You're one of the few. So if you like it, you learned something, give it a big thumbs up, share it with a friend. Maybe check out a workshop. You can go to GOHacademy.com at www.GOHacademy.com. I'm sure you'll find those live workshops that we hold very helpful. So check it out. All right, team. This is Chris Abraham from GOHacademy. Everyone have a great day. I'll see you in class. Take care, team. Bye-bye.